Nearer he drew, and many a walk traversed of stateliest covert, cedar, pine, or palm, then voluble and bold, now hid, now seen among thick-woven arborets and flowers, embordered on each bank, the hand of Eve. Spot more delicious than those gardens feigned or of revived Adonis, or renowned Alcinous, host of old Laertes' son, or that not mystic where the sapient king held dalliance with his fair Egyptian spouse. Much he the place admired, the person more. As one who long in populous city pent, where houses thick and sewers annoy the air, forth issuing on a summer's morn to breathe among the pleasant villages and farms adjoined, from each thing met conceives delight, the smell of grain, or tedded grass, or kine, or dairy, each rural sight, each rural sound. If chance with nymph-like step fair virgin pass, what pleasing seemed for her now pleases more, she most, and in her look sums all delight. Such pleasure took the serpent to behold this flowery plat, the sweet recess of Eve, thus early, thus alone. Her heavenly form, angelic, but more soft and feminine, her graceful innocence, her every air of gesture or least action, overawed his malice, and with rapine sweet bereaved his fierceness of the fierce intent it brought. That space the evil one abstracted stood from his own evil, and for the time remained stupidly good, of enmity disarmed, of guile, of hate, of envy, of revenge. But the hot hell that always in him burns, though in mid-heaven, soon ended his delight, and tortures him now more, the more he sees of pleasure not for him ordained. Then soon, and all his thoughts of mischief gratulating, thus excites.
Thoughts, whither have ye led me? With what sweet compulsion thus transported to forget what hither brought us? Hate, not love, nor hope of paradise for hell. Hope here to taste of pleasure, but all pleasure to destroy, save what is in destroying. Other joy to me is lost. Then let me not let pass occasion, which now smiles. Behold, alone, the woman, opportune to all attempts, her husband, for I view far round, not nigh, whose higher intellectual more I shun, and strength, of courage haughty, and of limb heroic built, though of terrestrial mould, foe not informidable, exempt from wound. I not, so much hath hell debased, and pain enfeebled me to what I was in heaven. She fair, divinely fair, fit love for gods, not terrible, though terror be in love and beauty, not approached by stronger hate, hate stronger under show of love well feigned, the way which to her ruin now I tend.
So spake the enemy of mankind, enclosed in serpent, inmate bad, and toward Eve addressed his way, Eve prone on the ground as since, but on his rear, circular base of rising folds that towered fold above fold, a surging maze, his head crested aloft and carbuncle his eyes, with burnished neck of verdant gold erect amidst his circling spires, that on the grass floated redundant. Pleasing was his shape, and lovely, never since of serpent kind lovelier, not those that in Illyria changed Hermione and Cadmus, or the god in Epidaurus, nor to which transformed Ammonian Jove, or Capitoline was seen, he with Olympias, this with her who bore Scipio the height of Rome. With tract oblique at first, as one who sought access but feared to interrupt. Sidelong he works his way, as when a ship by skilful steersman wrought nigh river's mouth or foreland, where the wind veers oft, as oft so steers and shifts her sail, so varied he, and of his tortuous train curled many a wanton wreath in sight of Eve, to lure her eye. She, busied, heard the sound of rustling leaves, but minded not, as used to such disport before her through the field, from every beast more duteous at her call than at Circean call the herd disguised. He bolder now, uncalled, before her stood, but as in gaze admiring. Oft he bowed his turret crest and sleek enamelled neck, fawning, and licked the ground whereon she trod. His gentle dumb expression turned at length the eye of Eve to mark his play. He, glad of her attention gained, with serpent tongue organic or impulse of vocal air, his fraudulent temptation thus began.
Wonder not, sovereign mistress, if perhaps thou canst, who art sole wonder. Much less arm thy looks, the heaven of mildness, with disdain, displeased that I approach thee thus, and gaze insatiate, I thus single, nor have feared thy awful brow, more awful thus retired. Fairest resemblance of thy Maker fair, thee all things living gaze on, all things thine by gift, and thy celestial beauty adore, with ravishment beheld, there best beheld where universally admired. But here, in this enclosure wild, these beasts among, beholders rude and shallow to discern half what in thee is fair, one man except who sees thee. And what is one, who shouldst be seen, a goddess among gods, adored and served by angels numberless, thy daily train.
So glozed the tempter, and his proem tuned. Into the heart of Eve his words made way, though at the voice much marvelling. At length, not unamazed, she thus in answer spake.
What may this mean? Language of man pronounced by tongue of brute, and human sense expressed? The first at least of these I thought denied to beasts, whom God on their creation day created mute to all articulate sound. The latter I demur, for in their looks much reason, and in their actions oft appears. Thee, serpent, subtlest beast of all the field, I knew, but not with human voice endued. Redouble then this miracle, and say, how camest thou speakable of mute? And how to me so friendly grown above the rest of brutal kind that daily are in sight? Say, for such wonder claims attention due.